jamming news straight to your brain.
Boom!
With a knife.
Yeah.
This time we're on time.
We are.
And we're going to talk about...
We recorded later than usual, but it's a different thing.
Yeah, so
it
looks a bit dark, actually. Whatever.
Yeah.
We're cool. We're going to talk about all of last week's news.
The tea set has returned.
And, yeah.
So, where to begin?
Where to begin? Well, I think the biggest thing has been Assassin's Creed, really. So I think we should start with that. Assassin's Creed Unity.
And we kind of touched on broken games last time as well. So, unfinished ones being released.
Yeah. So the gist of it is that Assassin's Creed Unity's come out to more or less favourable reviews, but most people, or at least a whole lot of people, to the point where it's become a sort of meme thing, it's fairly broken. Overall.
Yeah.
There's a lot of glitches and game breaky stuff, and also a lot of kind of really inconvenient microtransaction-y stuff.
Yeah.
It always wants you to go onto a website and load 1,000 versions of Unity, which everyone knows Unity is shit anyway.
It's brilliant because I guess it's kind of saying, I don't know, what's good for us is that's like one game which is showing a lot of things that's wrong with gaming now. Because I personally don't like microtransactions. I understand them, I play games that have them.
I don't mind them in the right context.
Yeah.
But in a game where you've paid 50 quid or whatever.
Yeah, precisely. So I would say a lot of people made this argument, if you're playing TF2, it says, do you want a hat for $3?
Yeah.
In the US, you'll be like, fair enough. Kind of thing. And I play Dota very occasionally, but I play Dota 2. I don't use microtransactions, it doesn't affect my ability to play the game, but you can if you want to. And that's what I think is the fair thing. And they're both free to play anyway.
Yeah. Which is where they really should be.
Yeah, precisely.
But yeah, so it's really confusing to me how the game actually, I haven't read in detail lots of the reviews of it because I kind of fell out in love with Assassin's Creed.
By 3.
Yeah,
or by the one after 2.
I had a very short, I like the second one, but that's besides the way. Anyway, so...
I tried to give it another chance and then Rich's PC broke. PS3 broke, true story.
It's sad.
Yeah.
But so but from what I could tell from browsing Metacritic and reading the Eurogame reviews, that it hasn't exactly got dazzling scores or anything, but but from people, the main complaint would be it's more of the same. But it seems to be that there's larger things. Right, this is for instance, this is something that's wrong with scoring a game in general as well.
We've talked about numerical scores before.
If we use Eurogamer as, say, the barometer here, it's just because it's the one I browse more often. Assassin's Creed Unity got a 7. Yeah. Toybox Turbos.
Toybox Turbos.
Which we'll talk about as well.
We're going to come on to that in a minute.
Got a 7.
Got a 7.
So...
But then we've not actually played it, to be fair.
But just going on fan reaction and going on...
general
those scores.
opinion.
It seems... I know that they're not meant to be judged as in these games are exactly the same amount of goodness, but when you put a number on something, you can't avoid it. Yeah, and also Toybox Turbos got marked down, I suppose, for not being really any different to old Micro Machines games. But as I would say that's it seems like strange scoring because if the game is fun and is good, and it's been a really long time since V3.
Yeah.
Then so it's probably worth doing another game, even if it doesn't change that much. And Micro Machines or Toybox Turbos is a formula that overcomplicating and changing too much was probably due to the detriment of the fun. It's meant to be kind of a simplistic game, as long as it wasn't getting annual sequels or whatever. And this is the first one. When did V3 come out? 96, 97?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
We're talking nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah. And there was a 4, but I don't really think anyone played it.
No, I don't think so.
That was 2006.
That was a PS2 game, I believe?
No, much earlier in 2006. Anyway, so basically it's been really odd. So to mark a game down on being too similar to games that probably most of the people in the age now are going to be playing games.
I didn't know they marked it down on being too similar. I didn't know that. Okay, they marked it down. Okay. That's a bit weird, because I've seen games marked down on not being similar enough. For example, I remember the first
fine balance.
The first Mega Man Battle Network. They got marked down because it wasn't a classic Mega Man style game, despite Battle.net would, I would argue, being really quite good games.
I quite liked Battle.net.
They were really fun, I felt, and it was just
despite the fact that it's quite clearly an RPG spin-off as well.
Yeah, I suppose that's it.
But people don't mark down Paper Mario. But again, slightly getting off track.
Yeah, that's getting off track slightly.
But that was the sticker style. The other ones are all good. But you know what I mean? Mario's allowed to do anything, but other people aren't, essentially.
Pretty much. Mario is game royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it seems weird to me that a game like Assassin's Creed Unity that had so many issues that people are happy to write and publish about the microtransactions, and they'll probably be happy to write about. For instance, they gave Battlefield 4 a really good score when everyone said it was a broken mess.
Abomination of destruction.
Even though it might eventually have become good.
Yeah,
for
precisely.
People who are fans of the genre. It's not. So I don't know. It seems like a lot of reviews overlook stuff that has actually been quite a big deal to people that are playing the game.
The thing is, it's hard to do it in the moment. If you know, like, so I used to review CDs, and it's just I know that I think I had about 5 CDs that I'd given a top score to, and people disagreed with me, and I was like, when I was listening to that, I felt like this was perfect. It doesn't mean it's objectively perfect. Yeah. So putting the number on it at all adds an objectivity, like you say, which cannot really be guaranteed.
I mean, Jim Sterling did a video recently where
basically he
re-released his old one, the 100% objective review, where he gave no opinions. And kind of highlighting the fact that reviews do have to have a level of subjectivity to them.
Yeah, precisely.
But yeah, I really dislike scores, and I think this probably a lot of people do.
I think it's very hard to put a score on anything. I mean,
but there are a lot of issues in all of that, which I'm saying, both one with reviews seemingly overlooking quite big problems with games,
I mean,
as well as problems with the score system, which is not specific to games.
For example, I would have definitely reviewed Medieval 2, one of my favourite games, as a 5 out of 5, say. I would have given it 5 out of 5, and now I'd be like, it's probably not a perfect game, but I love it. It's one of my favourite games ever.
Well, that's the other thing. If you're saying, if you're putting a score or something, and you're thanks for the milk,
no problem,
Daddy. If you're saying a game, give it a score, and you give a high number, and the game gets shut up. You give a game like a perfect score.
Yeah, exactly.
Then people are going to be going, oh, how can you give it that score? You can't say something's perfect, and it's just a pointless can of worms to open.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's like I said, at the time you might feel like it was perfect. And so even you would not agree always with your own score. And that's the thing. But anyway, we've kind of gone a massive tangent.
But reviews, there's been a lot of reviews of big games this week, so we might as well start.
I guess the thing we're saying is that the way it's been put across is as though Unity is a fairly good game, but people are saying, I can't even play this game. So if it's good, I can't get to it. So, and that's a big thing.
Even if I want to play just the same old, I can't really. I can't even.
Like, I don't know, if they've gone that commercial that they're stopping you playing the game, there's definitely a problem. And,
while we're talking about broken games, Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom
happened. Well, it hasn't come out in the UK yet, but it's come out in the Americas.
If it had come out in the UK, we probably still wouldn't have played it though.
No, which is quite a big thing for me as a Sonic fan. I've bought all of them. I've actually finished 2006 twice of my own choice. Which I'm
don't worry about that. 100% is True Crime New York City.
I'm wearing my Eggman hoodie, but I'd really have no interest in buying Boom, even if it's a budget. At some point, like £2, I'd be like,
I know very little about it.
Well, it's kind of made in sort of like a Jack and Dax Ratchet and Clanky style brawly platformer thing by people of ex-developers of those studios, apparently, who had formed a new studio, Red Button, which is now set to close after making one game. Yep. There was this whole big thing. Basically, the game is apparently really broken, loads of glitches all over the place. It's even when it works, maybe it's very boring and repetitive.
Maybe it's like Insomniac's worst devs, maybe Naughty Dog's worst devs.
It's a really weird situation because it became more and more obvious towards the game's release that it was going to be bad, and that Sega knew it was going to be bad because they basically stopped mentioning it. They basically stopped doing
so they stopped pushing it.
They didn't even give reviewers copies of the game to review.
Right.
They said reviewers had to go and buy their own copies if they wanted to review it. It's not even putting an embargo on it. It's literally almost trying to deny the game's existence.
Just saying, literally, we don't care. Please don't look at this.
Please don't. This is only going to hurt. Which is probably quite a big thing because they tried to launch this as kind of this new brand direction, and it's kind of... And one of the things is, like, people say, oh, it was rushed to release to time with the cartoon launch, but quite clearly there's like a lot of evidence that shows that that's not the case, because the game was probably finished in a finished state before E3 or around E3, because that's when it went gold, which I believe is the developer term for being finished. And then a lot of employees left either forcefully or of their own will around that time, literally months ago.
Sounds like there's loads of problems, really. It sounds like that was just... I mean,
we
weren't there, but I would say take from that there was almost certainly a really bad...
Something strange
happening.
Happened. The speculation is that Sega had announced a free game, Sonic game exclusivity deal with Nintendo, that they would release the next 3 titles exclusive to Nintendo consoles.
To the Wii or the Wii U.
And the speculation... based on everything, would suggest that like they wanted out of that deal.
Right.
So they took
a game PlayStation
that was going to be multi-platform and just put it on the Wii U.
Right.
So, and it was made in CryEngine, which apparently is not very good for the kind of game that it is.
Right.
It sounded like it had a lot of development issues.
It also sounds like developers' hands were forced on some things.
Yeah, on some. So, it sounds like it was a bit.
So they're like, well, I know how to make a game, but you're telling me to do it badly.
It looked like the game would probably have been quite mediocre anyway.
Yeah.
But
this is the thing, though.
They must have chosen to use CryEngine.
I'm trying to think
quite early on.
I'm trying to think of. I don't want to get. We're not going to get into a Nintendo Sega argument or anything. But I can't think of it. I can't think of a time when that's happened with Mario, apart from Hotel Mario on the CDI.
Yeah.
Where it's just a game where they're like, please don't play this game.
I guess
there probably is one. Don't get me wrong. There probably is
the whole Philips, all of the Philips stuff was Nintendo's doing that.
Yeah.
I think
please don't play Zelda Magic Wands or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And please don't play the Link game.
I guess this stuff does happen, but like it's not that common, especially I guess in
if
this day and age.
If we're using the CDI as an example, that's basically a console that is worth a lot of money nowadays because no one ever fucking bought it.
Yeah.
It's just
and they don't really want one.
Yeah, and it's so rare, but if someone actually does want it, they'll have to pay a lot for it. You know, so we're talking about a pretty much a useless console whilst this is going out on Wii U.
Yeah.
So
and it's a shame because I kind of feel like it's tarnishing maybe the 3DS version's scores, because the 3DS version didn't seem that bad to me when I played it, but it's getting a lot of.
This is when you played at Eurogamer Expo.
Yeah. And it didn't seem like the best game ever, but it seemed pretty fun overall. I don't know because I haven't played the full thing, but it seemed like there's a different studio made it, Sound Zero, who made the most recent Sly Cooper game for him.
Which was quite good, I believe. Yeah.
It seemed alright to me, but certainly not as bad as the scores are suggesting. I kind of feel like when you have these things that are tied into it, it influences the other media sometimes.
I think, yeah.
Maybe it is bad, but like I don't know. It's strange. Sonic games get strange scores, I think, sometimes. It's the kind of a tangent, but I felt Lost World got some really low review scores, and when I played it, I was just confused more than anything. But a bit of a side thing.
I guess if you take, I mean, I haven't played many Sonic games for years, to be honest. But if you take the press reviews of Sonic games, you get the impression they've just stopped being good about 15 years ago. Yeah. I just think that's probably not really the case. Yes, please. Yes, please.
They've been very. Oh god. Well, maybe not.
It's not even a half. That.
That's a dribble. Anyway.
There you go.
Thank you. So, Far Cry 4 also has got some reviews.
Yep.
And apparently that's quite good.
Far Cry 3 was fairly good.
Yeah.
I think they're probably alright, you know.
I enjoyed Far Cry 3 the little I played it when it actually worked on
it was a bit Rupiger, wasn't it? It had a few elements as a shooter, it was a bit RPG.
Yeah.
The thing it had again, this is I only played a bit of it as well, but it had a choice system quite a lot, didn't it? Of what you could do and how it would affect your ending. And someone told me what the endings were, and it seemed like the choice system was... It's a point which Yahtzee makes a lot. That the choice system was either you completely fuck these guys over, or you completely fuck these guys over. Yeah, you don't really have the choice.
Kind of a binary choice rather than an actual...
And it doesn't have... You know, they couldn't... Yeah, and I think that is a thing which we get a lot in games these days, of the choice system coming out. But Far Cry 4... It looks interesting, you know. Where's it say? It's Polynesian Islands or somewhere? Where is it?
Don't really know.
Okay.
Far Cry 3 seemed pretty good, but I didn't actually play it that much when I got it.
Yeah.
So, but apparently 4's good, so I thought we should mention it. They always look fun worlds to mess around in.
Yeah.
I kind of would treat them like the first-person shooter versions of GTA.
Yeah.
The fun fuck aroundy games, but I probably wouldn't be that bothered with finishing the single player.
I remember, is it Just Cause? I think I played.
Yeah,
and I played it.
Game.
I played it a long time after it had come out, and I liked it considerably more. But I had played Far Cry 3 with somebody, and I liked Just Cause more when it felt like a similar game but better. Though still, I'm not a big fan of that one either. To be honest,
I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there are some good games coming out in the world. In other big game news, Final Fantasy 15. There was a bunch of there's a 10-minute HD footage of basically
of someone walking.
Yeah, they're strolling. I guess they're just. I think it's quite far off.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to demonstrate the tech.
More
than the game.
It wouldn't even surprise me if that's just all they have right now that they can show. And that doesn't bother me too much.
The thing about it's been like, I don't know, there's a lot of argument. I think people have lost a lot of faith in both Square Enix and in Final Fantasy but this looks.
I think games aren't helping that.
Yeah.
I think 13 didn't help it in a way.
Well, that's what I mean. Like with the whole 13 thing, and pretty much apart from the online games, like 13 is all we've gotten in a really long time.
Yeah.
The 13 trilogy is the only.
I didn't play 12 actually.
Yeah,
it kind of came out without me even noticing as well.
So if you didn't like 13, then you pretty much haven't had a Final Fantasy game you liked in 8 years, 7 years.
When did 10 come out?
Or 12.
12.
12. People like 12.
People did like 12. Okay.
So, but 15 looks really different to me. I know a lot of people are drawing similarities probably because of the art style, but then I didn't really think 13 as an art style looked that dissimilar from Final Fantasy.
No.
It's just more obvious. You can see the design flaws when it
looked very
detailed.
kind of anime, but they all kind of are. So
I kind of think Final Fantasy has quite a distinct style, even when it changes from say the 8 to 9 was quite a drastic shift, but there was still something about it that seemed Final Fantasy and the character design.
Faces, I would say, to be honest.
But all the games have, I think from, I don't know about 12, but 10 and 13 and seemingly 15 have the same style as 8 and to a degree 7.
Yeah.
In terms of the way they approach characters.
Yeah.
And people have kind of said that they look like the boy band thing, which they do.
Yeah, but then
it's kind of always been that way.
That's kind of. I wouldn't say Squall doesn't look like a boy band member, and I wouldn't say I can't remember Squall's rival's name though. Cypher. He doesn't. He looks like someone who could be in a J-pop band too.
It's just kind of the way that they make their characters.
So does Renoa.
A lot
from
of
that
Japanese
game.
people, make their characters. There's just the style.
And if you look at the art style of 7 as well, same thing. Apart from maybe Red 13, who's, to be fair, a dog.
Yeah. Indeed. So basically, I'm not that fussed.
Yeah.
But the game, I haven't really shown much of the game. I have absolutely no issues with it being more hacker slashy because it looks like it still has the RPG elements.
Yeah.
But it looks awesome just from an environmental point of view because it has this kind of. It's got like this real world / fun I don't know, like fantasy setting to it, which I guess has always kind of been the Final Fantasy thing,
especially from 7 onwards or 6 onwards, in fact.
So it kind of looks like this is a very UK specific reference, but like the way they stop in it, it's kind of like they're stopping at the Devil's Punch Bowl, but it's inhabited by Jurassic.
That's a Hampshire reference. There.
Yeah, it's a very specific reference. But I mean, it looks like because they're on the long stretch of road and they stop by a foresty area.
Yeah, and it's like they're going through some moors or they're going through some downs. That is a UK reference again. Or in American terms, they're driving through the Pacific Northwest or something like that.
Like Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks, yeah.
But with
that's
less
the Pacific
fog.
Northwest, isn't it? Twin Peaks.
I think Twin Peaks.
Or was it Colorado?
Is borders Canada. I can't remember exactly.
Okay. Midwest then, maybe.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. It looks like when I watch it, it's just really exciting to watch because they have the really cool looking Final Fantasy monsters. And they're just
what it looked like, a little bit like to me was Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I got that feel like Monster Hunter, like how I would want Monster Hunter to be.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't. Monster Hunter actually felt quite constricted.
Very repetitive.
Yeah.
I like it, but it's very repetitive.
But what I liked about it is it seems like. Because I like Final Fantasy when it's open, as much as I am enjoying replaying 10 at the moment, it is really linear, and you never really get to explore. And like
compared to
this
7,
feels
maybe.
like the polar opposite to 13, which is what I was trying to touch on earlier, where you feels fully explorable.
Yeah. I guess it does look a bit like this is kind of acceptable in a hack and slash game. It does look like you can only control one character again.
Yeah,
but it's a hack and slash game. It's not so probably different fighting. It looks like it's a different fighting system.
I'm not actually that fussed with them not using proper turn-based combat because
no. Well, I mean they can if they don't,
Yeah,
basically they really turn-based combat's fine with me, or time turn-based combat is fine with me. But I like the fact that I can control my own party, and that's what you couldn't really do, or what was said you couldn't really do in 13, was you basically controlled one guy. Yeah, and that is...
But you control two, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, I'm hoping I can manage my own party.
I'm sure you set things, and you've always been able to set, you'll be able to set what to defend and what to cast.
But my favourite Final Fantasies are the tactics ones. Where it's quite a lot about party customization.
Yeah,
and we quite like Vandal Hearts. I especially quite like Vandal Hearts because you can mess up your party after a while. You can see what you do with them.
Yeah,
and that kind of thing.
Choose different paths.
Yeah.
That's.
I have a guy with 2 swords who's a paladin. That's what I did in Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced. True story.
Never played the Tactics, but anyway. So I think 15 looks really cool. Yeah. A lot of people are unsure, but I think
Final Fantasy is such a big, long series that some people are going to be like, I wish they were more like 6 and 7.
Yeah.
By this point, there's going to be people like that who exist, and there's going to be people who like my favourite one was 1, and I think they got too complicated after that.
Yeah.
So
it's true. But Square did make Bravely Default, which is apparently a very cool traditional style RPG in the style of the SNES RPG era.
I thought you played that already. Am I mixing?
No.
Okay.
I haven't played it.
It's on 3DS, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I don't have it at all. I wish I did.
You suck.
So there's some other news. There's not too much big news now. Just little bits and bobs. That's the gist.
So what's next?
There's a few. The ex-BioWare devs made a game called The Black Glove, or were trying to. They put it on Kickstarter. There was 2 games by 2 different ex-BioWare devs. I don't know if they were related. I assume the other one, which I think was called The Fire and the Flood, got kickstarted because no one mentioned anything about it. Whereas this other one called The Black Glove, which I talked about before, but by myself because you weren't here. I won't go into too much. Basically, it failed its Kickstarter, which is a bit sad because I just assumed it would get it. It looked more interesting than the other one. It was hard to tell.
What was it going to be like?
It was like some sort of mystery game. It looked kind of like The Shining, but you could manipulate time or something. It was very vague, but it looks more interesting. It looked like it showed more gameplay, whereas in the Fire and the Flood footage, it looked really aesthetically nice. It kind of looked like the person was just holding up and you were just going through nice environments.
Yeah, okay.
So... the other one might be good. I was just a bit surprised because I thought that ex-BioWare devs would just automatically get funding, but I guess crowdfunding, the sort of honeymoon period of it probably is over.
Yeah, I guess it's because of certain things which have been failures, like we've talked about Speed Space 9.
Yeah, there's been quite a lot of letdowns, like in the Yog game, and all of that stuff.
Because I guess people realise that if they're funding it, they're not necessarily shareholders in it. Maybe something like that's happening.
I guess they realise there's no guarantee that the game will be good.
Yeah,
as well, or will even get finished, which there isn't.
I'm sure plenty of them are good.
Yeah, but I think maybe the honeymoon period is over. I don't know.
The bubble has burst to a certain extent, perhaps. And then the last one is Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, I think
it's being released on PS4.
Being re-released, it's called the Rebirth Edition. I think you can get it on other things as well.
Like
you can get it on Vita, you can get it on Steam again, the newer version, so I assume it's got more shit in it.
Binding of Isaac's a beast.
Yeah.
It appeals to all of my hipster sensibilities. It's roguelike and indie.
Yes.
It's got everything I need.
Exactly.
It's a really fun game. So yeah, that'll be cool. Get it. If you've got a PS4, get it. If you haven't, you can already get it anyway.
Yeah. So
get it on Steam.
Just get it. Just get it or suffer.
Yeah. Or play another game that's also good.
Like Super Meat Boy.
Super Meat Boy, for example.
That was made by
Braid.
Final Fantasy 7.
Other games. But not the bad ones.
No.
Play the good ones.
Not the bad ones. Anyway.
Official advice from Jason Rivers and the Buzz. Play good games.
Yeah. Not bad ones. So that's the news. Enjoy another week of news.
We'll see you next week.
And we'll tell you about that then.
We might be late next week.
Might we?
What are we videoing?
Don't know.
We have something on next weekend. Perhaps we'll be late. We won't say we're going to be late now. We will apologise for it if we are late. Okay?
I might be lethargic from Godzilla films.
That's true. Yeah.
That's not
That's
really
possible,
the news.
though. They're classics.
Yeah. See ya.
See ya.
Dickheads.
You don't know they're dickheads.
No, they might be okay.
Yeah, they might be alright.